Hello and welcome. All right, today we are going under the hood of a protocol that is seriously changing how AI actually interacts with the world. It's called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, and it is the key to unlocking AI agents that can finally stop just talking and start doing.
So think about it. Large language models have this insane amount of knowledge, right? But they have this one huge problem. They're basically stuck. Their knowledge is frozen in time, and they have no way to actually interact with the world outside of their digital box. You can think of them as these brilliant brains trapped in a jar. They can't check the latest stock prices, they can't book a meeting on your calendar, they can't query a live database.
And this isolation, it creates an absolute nightmare for developers. You see, connecting an AI to any kind of external tool has always been this custom, one-off job. And that leads to a problem of, well, exponential complexity.
Just imagine you have, a few different AI models you're playing with, and maybe a dozen tools you want them to use. To make them all work together, you had to build a fragile custom connection for every single pair. That's what we called the M times N integration problem. And the worst part, if you wanted to swap out your AI model, let's say from Claude to GPT-4, you had to rebuild every single connection from scratch. It was absolute chaos. Totally unscalable, super inefficient, and just a massive roadblock to making any real progress.
So how do we fix this mess? Well, the answer came in November 2024 from Anthropic. They introduced a new open standard called the Model Context Protocol. And it was such an elegant solution that pretty soon you had giants like OpenAI and Google DeepMind adopting it too.
So what is it really? Well, MCP provides a universal language, a standardized rulebook, for any AI to talk to any external tool. So instead of building a new custom bridge every single time, developers just build to one common standard.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a USB-C port, but for AI. You know how that one single plug lets you connect pretty much any device to your laptop? Well, MCP does the exact same thing. It acts as a universal interface. Any tool that's built as an MCP server can just be plugged into any AI application that speaks the MCP language. It's that simple.
And the benefits are just huge. I mean, first, it completely solves that chaotic N by M problem, simplifying it to a much more manageable N plus M. It's also super efficient and really easy to extend. But maybe the most important thing is that it has an agent-first design. What that means is that it was built from the ground up for the weird, unpredictable needs of an AI agent, not just repurposed from some old standard that was designed for rigid human-written code.
So how does this whole thing actually work under the hood? Let's take a look at the key pieces that make this protocol tick. The architecture is actually beautifully simple. It's based on three main roles. First, you've got the host. This is the main AI app the user is talking to, where the LLM actually lives. Then inside the host, you have one or more clients. Each client is just responsible for managing one dedicated connection to a tool. And the server? Well, that's the tool itself. It could be a database, an API, whatever's providing the capability to the AI. Now, here's the part I think is really clever. The foundation for all of this? They didn't reinvent the wheel. MCP uses JSON RPC 2.0, which is this super lightweight, battle-tested protocol. Now, if you're a developer, you know this is a huge win. It means all the messages are just simple, human-readable text, not some complex binary code. This makes building and debugging new tools for AI incredibly easy and fast, using languages you already know, like Python or JavaScript. And the protocol itself is really split into two distinct layers. You've got the data layer, that's the what. It defines what the messages look like, the core ideas like tools and resources, and how a connection is supposed to work. Then you have the transport layer, that's the how. It just defines the channel the messages travel over, whether it's standard I/O for a local tool running on your computer or HTTP for some remote web service.
Okay, so this brings us to the big question, right? We've had APIs like REST and gRPC for literally decades. They let programs talk to each other. So why on earth do we need a whole new protocol just for AI?
Well, the answer isn't just about the technology. It's about a fundamental shift in the whole philosophy of how we design these things. It's about who or what the API is actually designed for.
And this, right here, is the absolute core difference. Traditional APIs, they're built for other code. A human developer reads the documentation and then writes very predictable logic. Call this endpoint with these exact parameters. Simple. But with MCP, the thing making the call isn't a human developer. It's a probabilistic AI model, right in the middle of a complex reasoning loop. It needs to figure out what tools are even available and then decide which one to use all by itself, in real time.
Let's just break down some of the practical differences here. So take discovery. With a REST API, that's static. A developer has to go read the docs beforehand. With MCP, it's totally dynamic. It happens at runtime. Or look at tool descriptions. For a regular API, it's just technical jargon meant for a human programmer. For MCP, it's a natural language description that an LLM can actually understand and use to make a decision. That is a complete game changer.
But maybe the single most important technical difference is state. You see, most web APIs are stateless. Every single request is a brand new conversation. The server has total amnesia. It's like having a conversation where you have to reintroduce yourself with every single sentence. Imagine an AI trying to book a trip that way. It's madness. MCSP, on the other hand, is stateful. It establishes a persistent session. The server remembers the context, which allows the AI to seamlessly go from finding flights to booking a hotel to renting a car, all inside one continuous conversation.
So what does this all really mean for the future of AI? What's the bigger picture here?
Well, MCP is the bridge that finally lets these incredible AI brains out of their digital jars. It gives them hands. It lets them move beyond just spitting out facts from their training data and become truly dynamic, active agents that can interact with live information, take real actions, and actually participate in our digital world.
The payoff is just immense. This kind of standardization creates a virtuous cycle. It encourages a massive ecosystem of tools that all just work together. It makes development way, way simpler, which in turn lets us build far more capable and autonomous AI agents. It even paves the way for really complex systems, where multiple specialized AIs can all work together on a single problem.
So it kind of leaves us with this final thought. For decades, APIs have been how we teach computer programs how to talk to each other. But by giving AI a standard way to discover, understand, and use tools, MCP might be doing something much more profound. It's giving them a framework for action, for problem solving, and maybe, just maybe, a framework for reasoning about the world in a completely new way. Thanks for watching.